Yoga is not Sanskrit for stretching. Dr. Steve Gangemi. Hello and welcome to episode 350 of Yoga with Melissa. This is real yoga for real people, yoga that you can do. Let me get you started in a yoga pose to start our class today. You're going to need a flat bolster for today's class, rectangle bolster. So thank you to Dusky Leaf for our props today. You're going to take that bolster. Might as well put it down here. And you're going to place it underneath your pelvis. So bend your knees, place your feet flat on the floor, and lie down. And then press into your feet and pull the bolster up underneath your pelvis. And I want it underneath your pelvis and your low back. And then lengthen your legs out long. And take your arms overhead. So this is going to be a lengthening of your psoas muscle here. And it's going to be a passive or restorative pose that you're going to stay in here at the beginning of the class while I open our class in other ways that we always do. But you will rest over this. Breathe into your lower belly and feel the opening of your psoas, which runs all the way from the sort of the base of your ribs here to at the front of your spine to and then they wrap along in front of your hip flexors. So a lot of times you call them your hip flexors, but it comes all the way up and attaches at the front of your spine here. So and this muscle gets quite tight. So we're going to be focusing a lot on releasing that in this class. So you stay here and allow this muscle to lengthen, relax, breathe into your belly. And I will sit up and go about the business of starting this class. Okay. So, I want to thank Squeezed Yoga Clothing for my clothes. I'm wearing gray leggings with the Om Mani Padme Om around the ankle, and also I'm wearing a red hoodie with an Om on it. So thank you to Squeezed Yoga Clothing. I'm going to sing the Sahanavatu mantra to bring us together as student and teacher now. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So that mantra means protect us together, student and teacher. May our studies nourish us together. May we work together for the good of the union of all. May our learning be luminous and purposeful. May we live in harmony. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. We are filming in Beacon Hill Park today. The tourists have gone home mostly, so we have the park back. It's not loaded down with people, and it is later in the afternoon, so the gardeners have gone down home with their power tools, and the Pokemon players haven't come out yet, so it's hopefully good timing. I have a testimonial today for you. I have a couple short ones. At the end of last week at 3:49, I asked for your feedback on what class you would like next. If you wanted a flexibility class or a strength class next, and why. And I received so much feedback from you, which is amazing. I appreciated that, and I loved it so much. And the membership community on YouTube, on my website. Also, we had a great conversation about it on Facebook, and this helped me so much in shaping this yoga class, and I love co-collaborating with you this day. So Madeline from YouTube said, flexibility is more important to me because the more flexible I am, the more openings happen emotionally, psychologically, physically, and spiritually. Flexibility allows me to go with the flow more often, as strengthening muscles causes a little bit of anxiety to my body sometimes. Tina said, I like the idea for flexibility rather than strength videos. I have a tight psoas muscles, and those muscles are so important in normal everyday movement, and I couldn't agree more. So thank you, Tina and Madeline and everybody who took the time to put your vote in at the end of the class for what you would like to see in next week's class. Your comments on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and SpeakPipe, my website, they're much appreciated. And of course, the most in-depth conversations always happen in our membership community. So make sure you listen all the way to the end so that you can find out what you can vote for next week, and also so that you can receive my 10 back to school yoga classes, my list of back to school yoga classes. Okay, so we're going to come from this pose to our next pose to lengthen your psoas. So you're going to bend your knees, press into your feet, lift the bolster up and out of the way. And we'll just put that off to the side for now. And we're going to do reclined side bend now. Okay, so you're lying on your back. And you're going to continue to focus on your psoas muscle. You're going to inhale, take your arms overhead, and side bend to one side. Doesn't matter which side. You can even take your legs to that same side to lengthen your psoas a little bit more. So our psoas muscles are a major stress response muscle. You can think of it in your own body like it's exactly like if you were to poke a caterpillar with a twig. That's what happens in your own body when you are met with stress. So when you find out bad news from a coworker or bad news in general, or when somebody triggers you, it's like you're a caterpillar that gets poked with a twig. Your psoas and your body curls up like that. That's the stress response that you have. And so we need to lengthen this muscle out to relax our nervous system so that we don't have that tension in our body. And then come back to the center. Breathe along both sides of your body and notice if the side of your body that you were just lengthening feels more relaxed, a deeper connection to the ground, less of a stress response. And then we'll go to the other side. So lengthening out your whole side on the other side. Feeling that lengthening of your psoas muscle. While you're letting go of any physical tension in your body, you're also letting go of any corresponding mental, emotional, energetic tension. And then come back to the center and check in again with both sides. Notice your breathing. Notice if there's more ease in your breathing, especially around your diaphragm. Okay, so from here we're going to combine strength and flexibility. So you're going to bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. If you have a block close by, you can place the block between your feet or your knees. And we're going to open up your psoas at the front of your hips and try and create the feeling of we're going to keep that feeling of relaxation that you've had while you rested over the bolster and doing the side bend while engaging the strength of your legs. So inhale here. Exhale, press into your feet. Feel the weight heavy in your feet. You're focusing on opening up at the front of your hips. That's what the focus is on, opening in the front of your hips so that you're releasing the lower part of your psoas here at the tops of your hips. And then we'll release your upper psoas by taking your arms all the way overhead. So continue to feel the release of your psoas here in bridge pose. Let your glutes and legs do the work and continue to release your psoas. Breathe along the front of your torso down into the front of your hips. And then you're going to slowly lower down, arc your arms back up, and gently bring your legs into your chest, keeping your psoas nice and soft. In this position, see if there's any tension in your body, particularly in your shoulders, the back of your neck, in your jaw, between your eyebrows, in your eyes, and allow yourself to let that tension go into the ground underneath you. And then you're going to roll to your side and rock up onto all fours, and we're going to come into lunge pose. Okay, you're going to step your left foot forward, and we'll start with your lower psoas. So here you're opening up your lower psoas, and we'll gradually build on to include the whole psoas. So sink down through your front left foot, come upright, so you can start to feel it move up your psoas here, and then we'll add in the whole psoas here. So you'll arc your right arm all the way up so that you're opening up your entire psoas here, and breathe into the front of your hip all the way along the opening of your torso here. And then you'll release that, And we'll do that same thing on the other side. So step your right leg through now. Lean forward. Feel that opening at the lower part of your psoas on the left side. Sink down through your front right foot and then feel it start to move up your psoas. Lift your left arm up and feel it arc all the way up the entire length of your psoas. So we spend a lot of time sitting, and this also shortens your psoas. So doing poses like lunge pose helps to counter some of the time we spend sitting. We need to just spend less time sitting. Okay, great. And then from here, we're going to come to a seated position to receive the teachings for today, to sit with your mudra. So you're going to come to a comfortable seated position. You may want to sit elevated on a blanket or a meditation cushion, just so that your knees can be lower than your hip bones. You can also sit on a chair if that's more comfortable for you. Today we're going to do the Dhyan mudra, where you place your right hand in your left hand and bring your thumbs together and rest that in your lap. I chose this mudra today because it encourages diaphragmatic breathing, and all of the poses that we're doing today lengthen the psoas, which also opens up your breathing in and around your diaphragm. So sit in a way that's alert and receptive, and you can either have your gaze soft on the ground or you can close your eyes. Dr. Steve Gangemi, who is on a mission to stop mindless stretching, reminds us that yoga is not a Sanskrit word for stretching. Yoga connects us to our physical body, but also to our mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual bodies. I think I am preaching to the choir now when I say yoga is so much more than flexibility. And yet, the number one reason people tell me that they practice yoga is to stay flexible. And it's also still the number one request that I get for yoga classes is, can we have more classes on flexibility? So this class, even when I gave you a choice between flexibility and strength, the flexibility one really outnumbered the strength in requests as well. Flexibility for flexibility's sake ends up with useless flexibility and will lead to injury. More flexibility is not necessarily better. We need to have adequate range of motion to be functional human beings. So that is, to be able to get out of bed in the morning, to sit on the toilet, to get up from the toilet, to practice basic hygiene, to dress ourselves, to undress ourselves, to make our meals, to get our groceries, to get things down from the cupboard, to get up and down from chairs, to walk up and down stairs, to be able to reach down and put on your shoes. But more than that, you need to ask yourself, what is this pursuit of flexibility for? The truth of the matter is that being uberly flexible, being incredibly flexible, being able to put your foot behind your head, being able to do contortionist poses does not mean that you're going to be out of pain. It does not mean that you're going to be an enlightened person. It actually, in my opinion, means that you'll be more likely to injure yourself. So what does flexibility really mean? And why would flexibility be important to you? What do you want to receive by being flexible? And I asked you this question. When I asked people why they wanted to be more flexible, they answered with responses like, I think Lucille said, I think I need flexibility in order to not get stuck in old patterns of reacting to stuff like life going on around me. Flexibility of mind, body, and spirit can work together to help me stay centered in my own life lessons. Tina explains, functional flexibility and increased range of motion helps me in my daily living and with my responsibilities as a caregiver. Flexibility also improves my stamina as my day, which can be more physical out of necessity. I suffer from osteoarthritis and I need to do yoga every day, but I haven't. I'm feeling the negative result of having not taken the time needed for this past month, and I can feel I can hardly stand upright. All of it carries over to my mental state and how I approach my day, or even how I feel I can handle my day. For me, I do find physical immobility is closely linked to my mental flow. Nikki says, flexibility in my body equals flexibility in my life. Recovering from chronic fatigue, chronic body pain, and chronic headaches, it's necessary to find flexibility again. It eases my anxiety and improves my mood as my body returns to a softer, more natural state. I love a strong body. Mine is when I'm healthy, but balance between strength and flexibility helps the energy within me run smoothly and make everything better. So what I loved about the responses that I received is that finding movement and flexibility in your body translated to you to finding flexibility in your mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual bodies, as well as your day-to-day life. It's about more than touching your toes. And I was thinking about this today when I was walking. We do actually need to be able to touch our toes to put our shoes on. So I get that when people, it's like the litmus test for yoga. People tell me all the time when they find out I teach yoga, oh, I can't even touch my toes. And I'm like, well, what's the big deal? Why do you need to be able to touch your toes? But you do to put on your shoes. So I get it. You have to be able to reach your feet, right? Well, if you bend your legs, yeah. But some people can't even do that, right? Yeah. So it is about, what I hear from all of you is that it's about mental flexibility. It's about less pain, anxiety, and stress, and about being in a state of flow. So I'd like us in today's class to take a step towards being smarter about flexibility. There is a significant correlation between rigidity, constriction, and stiffness in our physical bodies and the tension we experience mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and our day-to-day lived experience. And I can totally get on board as a yoga teacher with helping people release tension from their bodies. Dr. Steve Gangemi explains, if you're under significant physical, emotional, even nutritional stress, like if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, if you're eating a lot of sugar, if you're taking in foods that are causing a lot of inflammation in your body, then your nervous system will respond by tightening certain muscles. It's a protective mechanism. So whatever the stress is, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, nutritional, environmental stressors, your entire nervous system and muscles react to the problem by tightening and constricting. So my intention is to help release the tightening and constricting from the muscles. That's where I can get on board. One of the major sites of constriction is our psoas muscle. This muscle contracts from hours and hours of sitting, but also from emotional contracting in response to stressful situations. And today, we'll spend our physical practice releasing our psoas to move our body out of its sympathetic, fearful fight or flight, trying to survive state, so that we can access our parasympathetic nervous system and find free and easy breathing with our diaphragm. So reflect on how this relates to you in your life and what it is you want to receive from this yoga class. Maybe these teachings have shifted your thinking on flexibility and why it's important to you, or why it's not important to you. And begin to form an intention of what you would like to receive. What is it that you're trying to create, sustain, or let go of in your life, and how can this yoga practice help you to do that? Okay, once you've formed your intention, we're going to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So come onto all fours. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Tuck your toes under, lengthen the necks of your toes. Breathe in. Breathe out and lift your hips. And then you're going to look forward at the space between your hands. And walk your feet in and make your way up to standing. Okay, from standing, we're going to do Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, to lengthen your psoas again. So stand at the front of your mat. Take a big step back with your right foot. And turn your hips so they face the front edge of your mat. This one particularly, if your hips don't face the front edge of your mat, come up onto your back toe, because we really want to access the front of your hip here. Sink down through your front left sit bone, and then you're going to arc your arms up, and you want to really open up into this space right here. And then release this pose out of your body. And we're going to do this pose on the other side. So take a big step back with your left leg now. Turn your hips to face the short edge of your mat. And then you're going to sink down through your front right sit bone. And again, if you have difficulty bringing your hips to meet the front edge of your mat, come up onto your toes at the back, because you really want to access the front of your hip up all the way through your psoas. And then arc your arms up and really open up your body and your chest so you can lengthen all the way through the whole length of your psoas here. And then release this pose from your body. And we're going to combine our next two poses together. So we'll sequence them together. I'll get you to inhale and reach your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward at your hips. And then step back into downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, we're going to do a 3-pronged downward facing dog so that you're lengthening your psoas. And we'll do this on the right side first. So you're going to take your right leg up and back, open up your right hip. So you're lengthening the lower part of your psoas. And then once you've lengthened, you're going to bend your right knee. So feel the opening of your psoas in a slightly different way here. And then we're going to transition to the next pose here on this side. You're going to bring your right knee forward to your right wrist for pigeon. And here you're going to keep your back heel. So you're going to keep your toes tucked under like they were in downward facing dog, and your back knee lifted. So you're in back bending pigeon here. So you get the opening of your psoas all the way through the left side here. Okay, we're going to step back into downward facing dog. And this time we'll do your left leg back. So you're going to start first by with having your hips square. So take your left leg straight back first. Then open your left hip. And the last thing is to bend your knee. You can do this using a table too if this is too much weight bearing for your upper body right now. And then bring your left knee forward to your left wrist. Keep your right toes tucked under. And you're lengthening your psoas here on your right side with the back bending pigeon. Shoulders are relaxed. And then you're going to release all of this from your body. And we're going to come into a reclined twist. So we'll lie down on our backs. Okay, take your arms out to the side in a soft T. Let your shoulders be relaxed. Press into your feet. Take your hips over to the right side of your body. Drop your knees over to the left side of your body. And to lengthen your psoas here, you're just going to slowly, gently arc your right arm overhead. Then you're going to arc your right arm back down. Take a breath here. And come back to the center. Press into your feet, untuck your hips. Pause here and let your spine unravel. Feel the difference between the right and left side of your body. And then press into your feet again. Lift your hips and take them over to the left side of your mat. Take your knees over to the right side of your mat. And then slowly on this side, arc your left arm overhead. And here, you'll probably be able to bring your arm straight up. So I actually had to kind of bypass that a little bit. But I would arc it all the way up slowly to access your psoas there. Slide it along the ground. And then circle your arm back down, slide it along the ground. Take a deep breath here. And let it fall out of your mouth. Bring your knees back to the center. Press into your feet. Untuck your pelvis. Pause here, let your spine unravel. Okay, so you can either finish your class here with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. I would recommend in my case, I need to move them away from my buttocks a bit more, turn my toes in and my knees together just so my lower body can relax more. I want you to take constructive rest position so your psoas can release even more at the end. Or you could even take your bolster and put it underneath your knees. You could place your hands on your belly or your palms up beside you. So see what works best for you. So we're going to take constructive rest here at the end instead of shavasana today to release your psoas. You're going to stay here. I'm going to sit up and deliver the instructions for you in this position. So in constructive rest position, you allow your body to let go of tension, but without any effort. So you let gravity do all the work for you. So as you rest here with your body on the ground, feel the parts of your body that are connected to the ground and allow those bodies to sink into the ground more deeply. Each time you breathe out, let them drop and sink into the ground. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your buttocks on the ground. Feel your elbows on the ground. Your rib cage, your shoulder blades, and the back of your head. And then bring your attention to the support of your bones. Begin by sensing the weight of your bones sinking down towards the ground. Notice any part of your skeleton that feels as though it's suspended. Any place where muscular contraction prevents your bones from surrendering completely to gravity. As your psoas continues to release, the distribution of your weight will start to feel increasingly even throughout your body. So you can rest here in this constructive rest position for as long as you like. You could press pause on the video and stay here for longer. When you feel ready, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Try to carry this sensation, this quality of relaxation, this lack of tension with you as you come out of your constructive rest. So rather than going back to your habitual patterns of tension, allow the tension to stay dropped into the ground and come out of constructive rest, leaving the tension behind. Let those habitual patterns go. Your body prefers not to be in holding patterns. And the more you let go of the tension, the more your body prefers to not have tension in it. So leave the tension in the ground. Don't go back to the tension as you come out of constructive rest. Roll to your side, particularly in your shoulders, your face, your jaw. Make your way up to seated. Allow your body to have that sensation of relaxation, that lack of tension as you come to seated. We'll finish with our mantra, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, making space with breath and a sigh. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. So first we drew the benefits of our practice into ourselves, and then we offer them out into the world. If you like today's show, then please give it a thumbs up. If you know somebody who you think would enjoy it, feel free to share it with them or share it across your Facebook, Instagram, all your social media feeds. Feel free to share it. We put out a new show every Friday, so if you'd like to receive it in your feed, then you can subscribe and it'll show up in your feed, either on iTunes or YouTube, or you can sign up on my website for my mailing list and we'll send it to you. I want to thank Donna, Leah, Ivy, Eva, Joshua, and Carol for your donations. You can click here below to make a donation. And if you're receiving value from Yoga with Melissa, you can also contribute of your time and influence of the direction of the next Yoga with Melissa by answering the following question in the comments. What class would you like to see next week on the Yoga with Melissa Back to School series? Would you like a class on strength or a class on body image? So answer in the comments below either strength or body image, and I'll make my decision both on the number of votes for strength or body image and your reason why. So your reason why will also contribute to the making of the class. So people had some great reasons why, and actually contributed to the content that went into the class as well. So you can contribute to influencing the class and the content that goes in the class as well. If you like my back to school list of my 10 essential yoga classes to get you through the back to school season, then go to melissawest.com/350. That's the show notes for today's class. Scroll down and put your name, your email address in the opt-in box, and then we will send that to you and you will be all set for the back to school season. Today we focused on flexibility. If you want to be on the leading edge of flexibility, so I actually think stretching is totally, if you hadn't noticed, I actually think the stretching is kind of outdated thinking. If you want to be on the leading edge of flexibility, then I think fascia is where it's at, and where I put all my content on fascia and the tools that we use for them, the soft foam roller, the slow-mo ball, and the soft squash ball is in my membership community. We have a whole section on it in the postures and pranayam. Actually, I kind of just throw all that content all over the membership community now, but that is where it's at. That's the leading edge research. That's the way it's going for, really accessing your nervous system, releasing tension, getting your body all squishy and gooey and moving and flexible. I think stretching is just a totally outdated way of thinking. And so if you want to get on board and join the 21st century, then come into our membership site, because that is where it's at. And I'll put the link in our show notes for members so they can, sometimes members don't even know that we have this amazing content. So I'll put the link to where it is, and you can ask me more. I can tell you more about that if you are a member. Or if you want to become a member, there's a link here to become a member. I'm sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our Pacific Ocean. May you be as strong as our mountains, and may you be as rooted as the trees in our forest. Om Shanti Namaste.
Melissa would love to hear your questions and thoughts. Please leave your comments below the video. Thank you for your reviews on iTunes and YouTube. Your reviews help us to share yoga and a yoga lifestyle with others around the world. If you have a question for Melissa, you can leave a voice message at melissawest.com, and Melissa may answer it in an upcoming blog.